December 1918. Mrs. Worth gave me this diary. She says writing in it will help me remember these times. Oh, it is such a relief that the war has ended, and my brother Harry is safe. But my poor Arthur is still away in hospital after he was so badly wounded. There were celebrations all day and night, but I didn't feel like joining in. March 1919. Harry is home, and we are having a homecoming tea party for him. Mrs. Worth gave me a half-day's holiday. Little cousin Edith has come to stay. I wish Arthur could be here too. Edith and young Robert were so excited, they kept saying things like,
"I'm so proud of you, Cousin Harry."
And,
"We're having a tea party at school as well, but it won't be as good as ours."
But Harry was very quiet. I thought he would never stop polishing his boots.
"Those boots look perfect, Harry. But that's enough now, isn't it, lad?"
The tea party was lovely. Harry made a speech and we all felt so proud. But he kept stopping and looking away. Perhaps he was thinking of all the young men who aren't coming home.
After the fighting, some never came home, buried beneath foreign soil, never to speak, never to tell, never the same. We must never forget.
October 1919. It is a joy having Septimus home again. His army friend Douglas has joined us for a short stay. This morning, after breakfast, there was something of a disagreement. Douglas said he had heard
Talk of making a war memorial in town, a tribute to the men who died.
And of course, Lavinia supported this. She hoped it would be a
classic traditional memorial.
Young Charles and Harriet got very excited and shouted,
"With a heroic figure of a soldier on top, and we can have a parade there each year."
And lay poppy wreaths to remember.
Poor Lavinia wiped her eyes. She misses Lawrence terribly, but Septimus wasn't convinced. He said,
Should we feel proud of killing others? War is not something to be proud of.
Douglas informed us that
They are planning memorials in every town and village around the country.
And Lavinia thought that this was a good idea. Her view was
that it will make sure we remember how many brave men died in the war, just like Lawrence.
Rose arrived with the morning post just as Septimus explained his thinking.
We miss Lawrence too, Lavinia, but surely it would be better to have a more useful memorial, something to help the men who were hurt or families who had lost their men. What about a public library?
I could see Rose was taken with the idea, so I asked her views.
Oh, Mrs. Worth, a library would be wonderful. We could borrow books to read and learn about the war. Or my brother could read about other books to take his mind off it.
Septimus smiled and said,
A library will stand tall and proud in the city. 100 years from now, the world could plunge into another war if people do not learn not to start wars. A library is more use than a memorial. After the horror, some of us came home. Our bodies mended, our minds damaged. Never to speak, never to tell, never the same. We can never forget.
November 1919. I hope Arthur will be home soon. I was back home on my day off. Harry still doesn't look any better. After the children had gone to bed, Dad said,
Harry needs to pull himself together. The war's been over a year now. He needs to forget about it and get a job.
Mum just shook her head and said,
I wish it was that easy.
I said they'd been talking about war memorials over dinner at the Worth's house, and how young Mr. Septimus wants a memorial library instead. Granny said,
They're planning a hall of memory in a new square off Broad Street.
And Dad said he had heard that it would be
built of Portland stone. Beautiful. It will commemorate our glorious victory with the names of all those heroic young men who died.
I said, Harry and Arthur were brave too. Shouldn't they put all the names of everyone who fought, not only the men who died? Granny sighed at this and told us,
The powerful men will do what they choose, just as they always do.
and then Harry spoke out at last.
What good will these big memorials do for the men who served? For your Arthur, when he finally gets home, with one of his legs blown off. He can't go back to his job at the post office, can he? Delivering telegrams on his push bike. What's he going to do? I'm not much better, am I? Hall of Memory. If only I could forget.
After the war, those who came home, marching or limping or lying on stretchers, all of us hiding nightmare memories. How should we recover from fighting? How should we rebuild the peace? And how should we remember?